Y'all got so quiet. Y'all not scared, are you? Wow. Let's everyone say, black is beautiful.
Black is beautiful.
Black is beautiful. Growing up here in the city of Douglasville in the county, it wasn't what you think it was. My father, and sometimes I cheer up, he had to pick cotton. He had to make it happen for his family. And it was 8 of us, 4 boys and 4 girls. Once my father, Jesse Davis, he didn't go to school. He had to pick cotton to make a living. So look at him now, Jesse Davis. Okay, he became a mechanic for Greystone Power. One of his friends, one of his Caucasian friends, gave him an opportunity to come to work for Greystone Power as a oil changer for those big trucks. Once they saw that this young man wanted to be something, they sent him to school, to mechanic school, to learn how to work on big diesel trucks. Those same Greystone trucks that you see, my father was the mechanic, the first black mechanic for Greystone here in this city. So after that, my father organized black baseball. So the youth to have somewhere to play baseball. Baseball was right there in front of Stewart Middle School, our cousin. That is where the baseball field, we used to play baseball, which that was over across the track. I'm not gonna give a new name, I'm gonna give it to you plain. Right across the track. Some people call it North Side, some people still call it across the track. This is where I lived, this is where I grew up. So once my father organized baseball, a man named Bill Fight worked with him. Bill Fight had a Caucasian team, in other words, white team, that we couldn't go to Hunter Park and play. We could not go there. When we see the kids out swimming in Hunter Park, we have to go to the local lake called Hot Shot Lake. Anyone familiar with the name Hot Shot Lake? That was a lake over on the north side that we had to go and swim in the water until the man run us off because we could not go to Hunter Park. Ice cream. It's hot. We walk uptown, we see people in the ice cream parlor eating ice cream. We want ice cream so bad, but we cannot go in. We cannot go in. This is in Douglasville. We cannot go in and have an ice cream. We just have to look and just keep on walking. But getting back to Jesse Davis, a young man by the name of Dr. Young, donated the park, Jesse Davis Park, to the city of Douglasville. And the city of Douglasville named it after my father, Jesse Davis, because he worked hard. I helped him, my 3 other brothers helped him cut the grass and make it where we can play baseball. So in honor, they named it after Jesse Davis. I'm gonna tell you something else that you probably would not believe. Jesse Davis' sister name was Lenora Kane, lived here in Douglasville. Do you know who her son is? Herman Kane. That's my daddy's nephew, and that's my first cousin. Herman Kane ran for president. Now you Google everything that I'm telling you. Now it's gonna come up. Herman Kane ran for president from Douglasville, lived on the north side of the tracks. Okay, let's get to the mule train. Did you all ever know about the mule train, the Poor People March in Douglasville? You didn't know about that. That was a mule train that came from Birmingham, Alabama, to go to Washington, D.C., to march on Washington. You had Willie Bolton, you had Jose Williams, and you had Rap W. Abernathy. And they came through Douglasville, and guess what happened? They would not let them get on the interstate. They told the interstate started on Fairmont Road. They told them if they come up Bankhead and they get on the interstate, they're gonna lock them up. They locked up 60 of the poor people at the Armory. And our sheriff was Abercrombie. and our governor was Lester Maddox. Lester Maddox gave out the axe handles. They locked 6 up here in the armory. The armory, they had 60, and they took the mules and the train and the rest of the people to R.L. Cousins Stewart Middle School, and they put them all on that field. They lined the whole trains up. If you Google it, you'll see the mule train. The mule train, you'll see the poor people out there. They couldn't take baths, but the neighborhood came out. The neighborhood came out and carried some of the people to their homes for baths, give them clothes. That's in Douglasville, R.L. Cousins Stewart Middle School, right there on the field. So the governor sent down to Douglasville, to Abercrombie, said, release those poor people. So once they released, the buses came to the National Guard Armory and picked the poor people up and brought them back down to Stewart Middle School to the field. They fed the horses, well, no horses, they fed the mules. And then they gave them food and water. And the State Patrol escorted them to the interstate, and they went on to Atlanta to get on those trains to go to Washington, D.C. Now, that's the poor people march here in our city. And that's real talk, real talk. And it was in the 60s when Lester Maddox was our governor. Okay, let's go back when I started school, and I was part of integration. Okay, let me get some water. Integration. They shipped us off to Douglas County High School. New adventure for me. I've been used to seeing paintings on the walls, and I've been used to seeing different pictures on the walls. When I come to Douglas County, I didn't see no pictures on the wall. I didn't see none of that. I played in the band, played basketball. We went 22-0 under Coach Frost, and I played in the band under Tim Wheeler. We had about 275 band members. And Mr. Wheeler would tell the Caucasian kids, y'all treat them colored kids real nice now. Y'all treat the colored kids nice. So they treated us real, real good. And we got a chance to play for the Cotton Bowl Parade in Dallas, Texas. And one of our chaperones were Judge Barbara Caldwell. Judge Caldwell was one of our chaperones from Douglas County that went along with us to Dallas, Texas to play in the Cotton Bowl Parade. Now this is Douglas County band, about 275, 300 under Tim Wheeler. Then we got a chance to go to the Macy's Parade. Oh, we was getting acclimated then. Douglas County was our school. And we went to the Macy's Parade, and then we went to St. Augustine. I mean, we was really, really getting those superiors. But growing up here was a big thing for me. When I got grown, I did a lot of things. Went to school, went to Georgia State, dropped out. I thought I was going to want to go on my own. I couldn't do it. I had to put God first. Once I dropped out of Georgia State, I started playing in a professional band called the Purple Haze. Had an afro, and I dyed my afro white. If you Google Purple Haze, you'll see Sam Davis. So I played all over the country. Then the doors started getting shut where we try to get in places where the white bands played. So I said, I'm gonna be a freedom fighter. So once we stopped playing, I moved back to Douglasville. I became a freedom fighter. Let me tell you about some of the marches. I marched with Jose Williams to Forsyth County. They rocked us. They rocked the bus. And Jose said, get back on the bus. Get back on the bus. Forsyth County threw rocks at us. When the State Patrol got control of it, we got back off and marched again. That was the first march I was in. The second march I was in It was with the Quitman 10. That was 10, you Google Quitman 10, that was 10 blacks that ran for school board. And the governor locked them up because they said they cheated. All 10 of them won. They said they cheated. The governor had them locked up because they declared that they cheated. It never been 10 people to win no school board seat. Guess what? We marched. I took a crew out of Douglasville, LaShawn Danley, your school board young man, D.T. Jackson, he was one of the marchers. He went along with me. He said, I go. We went to Quitman and we marched against the unjust. That was one of the major march. You want to know another march? It gets scary. We went to Gina, Louisiana, for the Gina 6. Those black brothers that they hung a noose in the tree. We went and marched out to Gina. I organized 5 buses from the city of Douglasville, 5. Everybody know where my barbershop over across the track. I organized 5 out of that barbershop. We left Greenbrier Mall at 12 o'clock in the morning. We got to Gina around 4 in the morning. The State Patrol stopped us on the interstate, told us y'all cannot go into Gina. As far as you can see was buses. State Patrol, I got on the walkie-talkie. I'm the organizer. I got on walkie-talkie and told everybody on those buses, get your backpack and water, let's get off and walk. So they filled up the interstate. The State Patrol saw so many people, he came and told me, put them back on the bus because we cannot have you interrupting traffic on this interstate. So everybody got back on the bus, and the State Patrol carried us, escorted us into Gina. When we got to Gina, that was guns. That was people with guns. That was rednecks. That was people with guns. That Walmart, it was a war zone. Over 100,000 people at the march. This is true, you can Google it. 100,000 people at the march. They was on top of buildings. For the Gina 6. Once they escorted us into Gina, and we got off of those buses, and we marched for the good of the Gina 6, and they allowed them, they let them out of jail, and they found them not guilty. That's one of the major marches. But you can do it. You know, it's challenging, but be a leader. I'm a leader. I've been in every prison you can think of. You hear that? I've been in every prison you can think of, from Alto, Reedville, the federal pen, you name them. I was down when they did the longest yards. We talking about prisons now. Every prison. And prison got people of color, all color. You know what I was doing in the prisons? I've been in the latest prison in Millersville. Some of y'all looked up and said, prison, start smiling. Let me tell you something. I was over the entertainment for the inmates for the prisons. I was over the entertainment. I'm the one that bring the entertainment into the prison because they can go out, but I can bring it in. We get in line, we march down to the room just like this, set up everything on stage. I carry them gospel, R&B, jazz, and a comedian. They couldn't come out, but they're human just like you all are. They're human. So I was allowed to bring that in. That's why I know about every prison that you can think of, because I leave one prison, I go to another prison and another prison in the month of December, giving them socks, shirts, and things that they need, toiletries. And also in the federal pen, I played baseball in the federal pen. My father's team played baseball in the federal pen. The wall is so high. The wall, further you look up is a wall, and you cannot get out of that federal pen, and you will not knock a baseball over the federal pen. But this is a life story for me. I've done a lot, got a lot of certificates, attended a lot of schools. And you just don't get get where you are today just by being neglected. You have to want it. If I show you all the certificates on my wall, I mean from a long ways back, and I still get certificates. I got 3 last year in one convention, 3. I'm sitting out like you, and they called the leadership of the year, and guess who? Sam Davis. I walks up, people applaud, and sit back down, and the communications specialist of the year, and they said, Sam Davis. These are conferences that I've been to, and you have to take tests. I got up and got that one. Then they called another one, and the audience said, guess who it is? Sam Davis. And then they had a raffle. And guess whose name came out of it for $50 gift certificate? Sam Davis. So that means that God is good, and you have to put forth your number one. Go with your A game. Whatever I do, I go with my A game. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm going to have something to tell you. And I want you all to be millionaires, doctors, lawyers, engineers. You can do it. You can do it. If you need my help, I don't care who it is you know, just got a record, need some expungement, need some help, get my number from the office and call me. Because we're doing expungement here in this city in about another 3 weeks at St. James AME Church. If you got any family member that want to clean up their record, clean it up, get my number. It's at St. James AME Church across the tracks. Ladies and gents, you all have a great evening. I appreciate y'all. Do you have any questions?